Hey folks, welcome back to the channel, and for those of you that are new, well, my name is Luke, and today we're going to be doing an unboxing and review of the Kaiweets Industrial Articulating Borescope model number KBA02. And I'm very excited because I feel like Christmas came early this year for the Maddox household. I have always wanted an articulating borescope, but I've never been able to justify it. And the borescope that this one will be replacing has been kind of a disaster. There's two shots that I want to do. I want to do shots of what the view actually looks like in real life. And then I want to do what the recorded footage off the SD card for this guy actually looks like. And I don't want to have it altered or enhanced so that you can get a sense of what it's really going to look like. I feel like when it comes to borescopes, one of the most misleading parts of marketing is like the resolution and how good the camera is and what it'll look like. And then when you get it and try to use it, it feels like you're watching YouTube in 2011. It's like it's almost impossible to see what's actually going on. So this is advertised as having some really good quality. I'm very excited to try this out. And the articulating feature, if you don't know what that means, on a borescope, it's just like a fancy camera on a piece of wire. And usually they're static. They're just like this, and you have to bend it, and it's like a whole thing. This one you can move around on the controller, on the screen itself. And on top of that, it's at a smoking deal. Kaiweets is not a sponsor, but they are an affiliate. So please check out the description for the latest discount codes. And let's dive into this. I'm so excited for this. This is so fun. Okay, let's just take a look at the box really quick. 1.6 meter cable length. It is Type-C rechargeable. Looks like it comes with a 32 gig SD card, and then some accessories here. Lens protective ring, hook, magnet, side mirror. And then something that I really like that overseas manufacturers have been doing is I feel like they're so far ahead of the game when it comes to them having their marketing for social media set up. Let's see, battery life is supposed to be 5 hours, 3000 milliamp hour, screen size 4.3. Man, this is exciting. Okay, let's open it. I haven't opened it yet. And in classic Kaiweets fashion, you're gonna need it in a case. Now that is pretty exciting. Man, that's a nice charging cable too. It's these little details I've noticed that really make or break a product. When they take the detail and the time to think about like, okay, let's have a good modern. Okay, this should be our accessories for a borescope. You've got a 90 degree mirror. Looks like a hook for retrieval and a magnet for retrieval. I've never used one like an articulating one before. We had one at my old job, but I never had a good reason to use it. And so I'm so curious how this works. There's a good amount of length to this cord, but there's not too much length. Like on the one that I have, like this is way too much cord. Okay, you're never gonna be able to control fishing this through into wherever you're trying to get. See on the side here, ooh, SD card comes installed. There's our Type-C recharging. Okay, let's turn it on and start going through this thing. So is this articulating feature, is this a mechanical? Okay, it's mechanically driven. Wow, that is nice. That is slick. Ooh, it will do a 180. That is great. Oh, it's like creepy looking at it. It's like a Tim Burton creature, like a little worm guy. That's so cool. Oh my gosh, I love it. Okay, let's fire it up. Ooh. Okay. Okay. I'm glad they had that warning on there because the first thing I wanted to do was move it by hand. Okay, let's take a look at the screen to see like what it's actually going to look like. Hi, that's me. How responsive is it? It seems pretty snappy. Let's take a look. It claims it's in 1080p. Let's figure out the record. No, is this picture? Okay, that just clicking that changes the light. So let's because this is the environment that you're going to be using this in. That is so cool. So that's the brightest setting. That's pretty bright. That's my hand. Oh my gosh, this is so cool. Okay. I do have a light meter, and we could just see really quick in foot candles. Okay, so that's going to range. Drops off pretty steep, but like your average working environment, probably be somewhere between like 50 and 80 foot candles. And like for perspective, you know, I film really bright and that's at 121. So it's got a nice strong light on there. Yeah, and I was looking for an excuse to use my light meter. Okay. There is a zoom function. That's really nice. I've never seen that. Oh, and that's great too. Okay, so something else about using a borescope that you don't really think about until you actually start utilizing it is that the orientation of the camera, like the Z, I guess that would be like the Z axis, like how it's rotated can really throw you off when you're trying to fish around and look for something. So what this can do is it can rotate the picture. Man, this is so, it's just way too fun. Oh my gosh, thank you Kaiweets for sending me your product. It feels malleable, it feels good. Something they wanted me to mention, and this is another thing that you're gonna have to think about too when you're using something like this, the camera head not being too bulky. They told me it was 6.5 millimeters. Let's see if they're right. Ooh, okay, 6.95. I think there's, ooh, don't move it by hand. I think there's a little sleeve on there. So you have this threaded screen protector, lens cap little guy. Oh, it's just a sleeve, just a protective sleeve. Okay, so it's not an actual cap. Okay, I'm curious on what's going on here. This is the magnet. What does it look like when you use the magnet? You gotta get one just to play with it. Okay, and then, okay, my orientation is making me feel confused. There we go, that's a lot better. Okay, when you use the light with the magnet, that seems to be distracting. It seems like if you had the lowest level, oh my gosh, and then there's a light on the back of the freaking thing too, on this guy. They got all kinds of lights in here. Okay, so with this, I love what they're doing. My note would be that these buttons are somehow illuminated. Ooh, okay, here we go. Yeah, they're zeroed out. Coming in at just under 6.5. Let's try this 90 degree mirror. Some of you might be wondering what would be the application of a 90 degree mirror. The only thing that comes to mind for me is inspecting the sidewalls of a cylinder. But I mean, too, when I worked in aerospace, I mean, there were some tight little spots and compartments that you had to make sure were completely free of any kind of debris or anything like that. And then lastly, let's just see what it looks like on here with the hook. Okay, that's the record button. Ah, there we go. Okay, so while you're recording, you can't access the settings menu, resolution HD. Can you change that? You can. So you can go to 720 or 480. Oh, and it can record sound. And okay, you can change it to Fahrenheit. Yeah, let's take this thing. We're gonna use it with a car. It's one thing to test a product on the bench, but I figured let's bring it into a real use case environment where we can see how it'll actually perform. For those of you that may not be too familiar with some of the tooling that mechanics would use for working down in an engine bay like this and trying to see this front cover and all that stuff, we're usually going to use a mirror and a light to take a look. But that's not always an option, and sometimes getting your line of sight lined up with the mirror, with your light, and then knowing exactly what you're looking at can be a struggle. There's other use cases for the Borescope as well, you know, such as like places where you can't fit a mirror, like down a spark plug well hole to inspect valves and cylinders. Let's try it out. We're gonna get it fired up. Okay, so now we're recording. And let's just see what we can see down in there. Okay. So this is great. I can see well down into this space. This would be great, like if I was going down in there to look for a leak. Yeah, that's a great shot. So this would be really handy for selling a job to a customer. You could show them exactly, you know, like up in the front here, we're going to have like your water pump. And if it's leaking, you could get some footage of that. You could show them that you took a look at the serpentine belt. Let's take a look at another area here. It can be particularly difficult to see. I did a job on this manifold last summer, and it would be nice to see, you know, everything that I'm looking at right now, you're not going to make out with the mirror and a light. There's so much here that you just wouldn't be able to see under normal conditions. And having this articulating feature to help me navigate as I'm going through here is just really great. There's something I think to really note is that's a great image. I mean, that's streaming in high def, and you can really tell that the quality is there. So I think with a lot of these borescopes, you know, the camera might be rated for 1080p or whatever, and it might record at that resolution, but to actually see it live here in the clarity and the detail, I think is really impressive. I think especially for this price point, that's pretty cool. Not only is it cool, but it's super handy for checking out this vehicle. Why don't you check out the descriptions for a discount code? And thanks for coming along with me, and I'll check you on the next one.